answer questions y'all have for him. Everyone should still have recording access. Let me know if not. With that said, let's go to Newt for the first question.
Hey, Joe, good to see you today. Wanted to ask you, since you may have to play one of your backups this week, what did you learn from Teddy during this 5-0 run last year, as coming in as a backup, that helped kind of solidify, and how important was it to know that, to solidify that he could be the guy here?
I mean, Teddy, I kind of just, from my time just being with Teddy down in New Orleans, I knew, regardless of those 5 games this past year, from this past season, that I believe that he could be a franchise quarterback. So that just kind of like solidified it and allowed him to just be able to continue to do what he does. But, look, we've said all along, we have faith in every quarterback that's on our roster, and we feel confident in them understanding the system. So, none of that has changed.
Had you not been with Teddy, though, and haven't seen him just do what he did coming in for Drew Brees, how would that have helped you?
Well, look, you saw a quarterback that played confident, knew exactly what to, executed the game plan that they presented for him. And, he found ways to win football games. And at the end of the day, that's the most important thing from a quarterback, is finding ways to win games. And that's what he was doing.
Thank you.
Let's go to Sheena Quick, followed by Joe Person.
Hi, Joe. Hope you're doing well. We've talked a lot about the third quarter offensive struggles that you guys have been going through this season. What, if any, way can you simulate that? I mean, I know it's not like a red zone offense or anything like that, or 2-minute offense. How do you simulate third quarter offense?
I think you just have to have the approach. We have to, utilize maybe halftime, or just have the approach of, hey, it's a completely new football game, and make adjustments based upon what's happening in the first half, and kind of approach it the same way that you approach the first half, in terms of having ideas of the openers, and these are plays that we're looking to go to and paint the picture just like you do a night before a game. And so we're obviously, there's internally looking at ways to continue to do that. But the most important thing in the third quarter is, in the second half, is we have to execute on third downs. And so when you look at the drives, it hasn't been a matter of 3 and outs. It's a matter of us just continuing to sustain the drives, and the third downs, especially around the midfield, the last few games is where we've been able to have success, and then we get into the midfield and we've stalled from that standpoint. And so I think it's our guys just understanding kind of what's us as coaches painting the picture for them about what's about to come, and then us just executing in that standpoint.
Joe, you mentioned Teddy as a franchise quarterback. What gave you that confidence, and how would you assess his play through games this year?
I think there's so much that goes into a quarterback in terms of their preparation, their seated due, their understanding and their processing, and just being around Teddy, and for that year that I was there, and just seeing how he was able to pick up the offense, be able to grasp it, and just seeing how he was around his teammates. He endeared himself to his teammates, and you knew that he was special, and that he was going to be able to, when he had the opportunity again, he was going to be able to succeed. And so you look at him here, and he has this locker room, he has this organization, everybody on this football team believes in him, and when he goes out there and he executes. And so I fully expect Teddy Bridgewater to continue doing this the rest of the season, and his career here as a Carolina Panther.
And just your assessment of how he's played so far. As you guys, with everybody, I'm always gonna, we're always gonna. No one rises to low expectations, so we have high expectations of everybody on this offense. And so, I've been pleased with how Teddy's playing. I think Teddy's playing. I think he's playing well. He's making plays. He's playing within the system. And we're always going to continue to push our guys to say that they can take it to another level. But I think he's taking this offense. He's making it his offense. He's running with it. He's executing, and I think he's playing at a high level.
Let's go to Alina Gutsenberg for the next question.
Hey, Joe. I was curious, Matt said that even if Teddy plays this weekend, that this week would kind of give you guys a good chance to see who should be really the number 2 between Will and PJ. And I guess I was wondering, what are you looking for this week? Like, what do you want to see them do? And is anything specific you're going to be watching for?
I think, my approach as offense coordinator is the same every week. And it's, and I think from Teddy, Will, and PJ, their approach this week shouldn't be any different than it has been, right? Teddy preparing to start, and Will and PJ preparing to play. And so,
I think the biggest thing is just hoping that there's not a change in anybody, and that, that consistency and then the process and just, trusting that, that their approach and the way that they prepared going into games in the past shouldn't be any different this week. And so, that's the mindset. So it's not necessarily, hey, they go out and practice and they have to make this throw or he has to make that throw. It's just making sure that their process, their understanding of the offense, and that they're not trying to do too much with the reps that they are in there. And if they have to play this week, that they'll be ready.
Let's go to Mike Solarte, followed by Jonathan Alexander.
Thanks, Preston. Hey, Joe, can you quantify what Mike Davis has meant to you guys? I mean, obviously Christian's been out with the ankle and now the shoulder, but Mike Davis played through what looked like a pretty gross hand injury last week, and he came back and played. And it seems like he's got value, but maybe he's not as appreciated around the league. I'm pretty sure he's appreciated within your room, though.
Yeah, I'm not sure from an appreciation around the league, but in our organization, our football team, Mike Davis, the role that he's played on our football team. And I know I said it when he first became the starter. This was our expectation of Mike, was he was going to come in here and perform. And, the toughness that he plays with, the attention to detail, the way that he kind of approaches every game as, he's going to be ready to go, and however many carries he has, however many catches he has, look, all he wants to do is win the football games. And so he's willing to do whatever and embraces every role. And, when Christian came back for the week, you didn't see a change in approach, change in mindset for him, even though the next following game, his carries went down, and, he's kind of stayed level-headed and stayed, competitive and ready to go. And so in this locker room on our football team, man, he's an extremely valuable piece.
Hey, Joe, hope you're doing well. Kids, what have you seen from each PJ and Will in practice, and how would you assess how they've done in practice as far as being prepared if they are having to be called on?
Look, I think you see two guys that have an understanding, and I think that's the approach they've had the whole season. They have an understanding of the offense. They know what we're trying to do. They know what they know where their answers are. They know where their checkdowns are. They're able to progress in the pocket and climb in the pocket. And when you have, it's hard in this league to find quarterbacks that you believe in, that you're, on a consistent basis. And when we feel like we have three that, whoever's going to go out there is going to be able to have success, and because they have an understanding of what we're trying to do, and not going to just try to go out there and play hero ball or whatnot. And so I think PJ and Will just, with the limited reps that they, you get throughout practice, trying to, get your starting role, and Teddy get ready. You've seen guys that, get the mental reps. They utilize all the different resources here to be ready. And, so I think they can make all the throws. They can progress through the reads. They can make the checks. They have an understanding of the offense, and that's the most important thing.
All right, let's go back to Joe Person for the next question.
Hey, Joe, last week I asked you about Tommy Stevens, and you weren't able to say anything as that was a transaction still in the making. But now that he's here, what, and I know you guys listed him as a quarterback. Can you just talk a little bit more about him and kind of what you think his upside and ceiling might be?
Yeah, Tommy Stevens is a player on our team that, just like everybody else on our practice squad, that, has to be willing to do anything on this team to get an opportunity to play. And, I think Tommy has the right mindset. He wants to develop as a quarterback, and we want to develop him as a quarterback. And, but he's a guy that comes in here and works. And it was evident yesterday, just seeing the mindset and the approach. And that's just kind of, my experience with Tommy, that's kind of who he is. And so, we're excited to be able to get hands-on with him and kind of develop him.
Did you always view him as a quarterback, based on your time with him?
Yes, I did.
Let's go to Sheena Quick for the next question.
One more question, Joe. It seems like, I guess every other week we're asking you guys, well, why doesn't DJ Moore have more targets? Why does Robbie Anderson have more targets? Why are Mike Davis's carries down? How close are you guys, or where are you in the process of finding a way for all of these offensive weapons to coexist and to be productive?
Look, and I think I kind of mention it every week. Look, we're just trying to find whatever we have to do that week to win the football game. And we're obviously trying to put our players in best position to have success. We don't know how the games are always going to shake out. We don't know how many plays. It's not one of those things where you can say, hey, it's going to be 60 plays in the game, and this guy needs 10 touches. This guy needs 10 touches. We got to play within the system and not try to force things. And so, You know, at the end of the day, all we care about is trying to find ways to win the football game. And, you know, there might be games, you know, we said like 2 weeks ago against Kansas City where DJ might not have had the, you know, production that he wanted, but then and Curtis had you know, his career game, but we didn't win the football game. And so that was the most important thing. And then this past week, DJ had some production. I think you're never, when you really look at it, if you just said you were going to get DJ, Robbie, Curtis 10 touches, that's 30 plays. Then you get a running back, you know, 20 touches, that's 50 plays, you know, and for that to, you know, always happen, you know, exactly as planned, you know, I think that's kind of unrealistic. So we just kind of just approach the game plan in terms of trying to find the matchups that we can get in the scenarios that we can, and you call plays. And sometimes, you know, the progression just takes you other places. But, you know, at the end of the day, we're not focused on necessarily who's getting the touches as much as we are trying to find ways to win the football game.
All right, guys, we have time for one more if anyone has one final question.
I have a quick one. Sorry, Preston.
Yeah, you're good.
I was curious, just going off kind of Joe's question about Tommy, I was just curious, did you talk to anyone in the front office, or like were you involved, talk to Matt about your experience with him at Penn State, or kind of what were your thoughts on him coming on the signing?
Like, you know, just how it is with if you have an experience with any player on, you know, I'm sure which just like with Coach Rule or some of his players, if there's guys that we sign on practice squad, is the more information you have on any player. But outside of that, you know, we trust our personnel department to make the right decisions. You know, and it's our job that, you know, to coach the guys that are in our rooms and develop them. And so whoever's in our rooms, and so just Tommy, you know, it was an opportunity to bring Tommy in, and it's a guy that, you know, we feel like we can develop. And so I was excited about that.
All right, let's go to Joe Person for the final question.
Yeah, Joe, just quick scouting report maybe on Detroit defense.
Yeah, I think, you know, I think sometimes you can get caught up. I say it every week, and sometimes you can get caught up in the statistics, and they don't necessarily always paint the real picture of the type of defense that these guys are. I think they're extremely sound defense. You know, they do a great job of, you know, utilizing matchups that they have and finding out, you know, what you do well and trying to take that away. And I think you watch them from a game to game, you're going to see a different type of defense, not necessarily in terms of scheme, but in terms of their identity, in terms of who they're trying to stop and what they're trying to defend. And, you know, I think Coach Patricia does a great job with that. You know, obviously you got a first round draft pick corner, you got, you know, Jamie Collins, and then they're able to rush the passer. And so, you know, it's, we're going to be excited this week, and, you know, we're going to have a huge challenge in our hands full.
All right, guys, that's going to do it. Joe, we appreciate it.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.